not able to attend it in person will be able to come back later and watch it. I'll send that video to Bonnie. So I'm going to share my screen here. If you guys can just let me know once you see it on your side. Should be popping up any second. All right, are you guys seeing the screen share? Oh, actually, you're all probably muted, so it's showing on my side, so I think we're in good shape. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the EMS side first. I know the majority of you guys are from the EMS side, but I do want to show what the hospital receive side looks like as well, just so you guys are aware of it. So you'll see on my screen I have an iPad up. Basically, that's what the eBridge app is going to look like on your devices when you launch it. Right now, there's just one button on the home screen for the priority 3 notifications, and then you'll see there's kind of like a menu down at the bottom where there's a home icon, a picture of a video camera and a phone, and then like a clock-looking icon for the history. So I'm going to come back to those later. I'm going to start and just show you the priority 3 notifications first, and then, like I said, we'll swing back later, and I'll show you how to do the audio and video calls as well. So when you guys are going to do one of these priority 3 notifications, obviously you just click that button that's there on the screen, and then a pretty basic form pops up. And you'll notice that there's some fields on here that have, actually pretty much all the fields on here have a red box around them, meaning they're required. So you won't actually be able to send this notification in until you fill out each of those fields. So for example, if I click the attach button, it'll give me an error because not everything has been filled in. So I'm just going to close out of that error. So there's going to be a custom form for each of your agencies. So right now, that first box down with the red circle around it that says demo agency, that's actually going to say your agency name there. So again, right now this is just my demo unit, so it says demo. And if I click on that, the drop down that appears just has, unit 1, 2, and 3. So yours will actually have your unit numbers in there as well. So this way you're only seeing your unit numbers and it's got your agency name filled in by default. Then the next field down below that is for the age, and that just pops up the keyboard. You could obviously just type in an age. Below that, gender, that's pretty self-explanatory. It only lets you select one at a time, obviously. So if you select one, hit the other one, it'll automatically unselect the first one. And then the next box down from there is the chief complaint primary impression. So you got a couple options for that. You can click on it and then just type something in if you wanted, or you can use the voice-to-text feature of your device. So, for example, if you have an iPhone or an iPad or an Android smartphone or tablet, it's got built-in voice-to-text capabilities. So if I click on the little microphone icon there, I can say 45-year-old female patient with abdominal pain. And then that will actually fill in on the screen for you there, what you voiced in. So like I said, you can type it in, or if you wanted to just use the voice-to-text feature, you could do that as well. And then that very last drop down at the bottom is for the ETA. So if I click on that, it brings up just a choice. So you're just going to, pick the closest one, that fits your description on there. So we're going to go ahead and on mine, I'm just going to say 10 minutes. Now, just so you know, and by the way, you may notice my daughter walking around in the back. I apologize for that. Virtual school, it's fun. It's a fun treat. So basically, once you pick the ETA, at that point, the form is completely filled out and ready to be sent in. So you can click that attach button at the top right, and then it's going to take you to the next screen, which is asking you where you want to send it. So this is where you're picking the hospital. So on your devices, you're going to have that whole list of all of the hospitals in your region. Naturally, on mine here, by demo unit, I don't have all those. I just have, my test hospital that I'm going to send to. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the test hospital just by selecting it. And then it just takes me to a screen called the summary. And this is basically just giving me a quick summary of what I'm about to send in. So it says who I'm going to send it to, the subject, which is pre-filled in the priority 3 notification. It's got the form that I've attached, and then it's got a priority, request, acknowledge, and tracking all preset. I'm going to show you what those are once we send this, and you see what the hospital side looks like. And then when I'm ready to send, at the top right, we just have that send button. So I go ahead and click on that, and it pops up a little message at the bottom saying that the message was sent. So now on the hospital side, most of your hospitals in the area have our CarePoint workstations. So they're going to be running this eBridge application right on their CarePoints. And what will happen is when the alert comes in, they're going to get a flashing audible and visual alert like this. And I have mine to only alarm for 5 seconds. Theirs is essentially going to continue alarming for like a minute straight, and then it's off for 30 seconds, and then it's on again for a minute. So it will keep alarming on their side, so they come over and open it. So once they actually click the open button, it will then pop up, and I'm just going to minimize my Zoom windows here because they're kind of in the way. It'll pop up on the screen, and they see all the information that you filled out. So again, it shows the priority 3 notification as the subject. It says who it's from. Again, in my case, mine just says Oakland EMS test. Yours will actually say your agency and unit number. And then there's an attachment, which is that form, and that's obviously the most important part. So if they click on that and click the open button, it's actually going to open up that form. And you'll see on the hospital side, it looks a little more kind of like a proper form layout. On the mobile devices in the field, like iPhones, iPads, and Androids, we have that mobile-friendly view. It's a little easier to fill out like that because if we were to try to shrink this style screen down to actually fit on the smaller devices like iPhones and Android phones, it would be very difficult to fill this out. So that's why we have that more mobile-friendly view. And obviously, once they get it, if they wanted to print out a hard copy of it, they can, or they can just click save, and that's going to save it into their Describe database where all their calls and everything else get recorded into. And then I'm just going to come back to the screen here. They also have that flashing red acknowledge button down there. So they're going to go ahead and click on that after they viewed it. And then I just want to show you on your side, on the ambulance side, what that looks like. So again, after I sent the message, it takes me back to the home screen. But if I click on that little clock-looking icon down in the lower right, that'll actually bring up the history of all the messages I've sent and received. And you'll notice the one up at the top is the one I just sent right now. They're basically in chronological order with the newest one up top. And you'll see there's actually a timestamp in there that says acknowledged with the current date and time. And if I actually click on the message to view the details of it, down on the bottom where it says time acknowledged, you can click anywhere on there, and it'll actually show you the status of everything. So if for some reason you sent the message and it's not showing delivered or, wasn't opened, acknowledged, or anything like that, once you get to the hospital, you can, question them and ask, if something happened on their end, because naturally the way this should work is once you send it, it'll fill in the sent timestamp. Once it gets delivered to their CarePoint, meaning once it starts alarming on their side, it will show the delivered timestamp. And then obviously once they open it, it shows opened. And once they click that flashing red acknowledge button, it will show acknowledged. So that's always a way that you can see if for some reason they didn't open it or didn't acknowledge it or anything like that. And I'm just going to switch back over to the hospital side one more time. So the last thing I wanted to show you was the map on the screen here. So naturally, you guys are located out in Michigan, and as you can see, I'm in northeastern New Jersey. So using the GPS of my device, you can see it's going to take me about 500 plus minutes to get out there. So normally in your situations, your transports are obviously going to be quite a bit shorter than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of zoom in on the hospital location just to give you an idea what it will look like. So typically the map would probably be zoomed in, to a level similar to this. And that little yellow pinpoint that was on there, which was representing me and my iPad, that's actually going to update in real time on the screen, showing your position on the map. So they know, what your current ETA is. Like that, again, that updates in real time, and they'll actually see you on the map. And then if I zoom really far into the hospital, you'll see we kind of do a little blue circle here. Once the ambulance pulls into that blue circle, they'll actually get another alert on their system letting them know that you guys have arrived. So this way they know you're going to be walking in the door, with the patient within the next couple of minutes after you, get parked and unload and everything like that. So like I said, that ETA that's over here on the left will count down in real time as you're getting closer. And then once you arrive and pull into that blue circle, it will actually show a check mark here and say arrived. And then that will be that card that's over here on the screen. There will be a card for each ambulance that's currently en route to them. And then once you get marked as arrived, it stays on the screen for an additional 10 minutes, and then it will automatically clear off. So they don't even need to clear it off or anything. And if they wanted to go in and see the details of the message, they can just double click it, and then it brings the message back up where they can click and actually, open the form back up or, do whatever else they needed to do. So now, one thing that they have the capability to do as well is they can reply back to you. So for example, if you sent in the form and they had a question on it, they've got a couple different choices actually. They can reply back and just send you a message back. And just to kind of show you what that will look like, I'm just going to go ahead and click reply, and I'll just type in test on here. And I'm going to send that and bring up the iPad again. And on the iPad side, and you can't hear it because I have the alert volume pretty low, but you'll get, excuse me, an alert on your device, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, or a Toughbook, or whatever it may be. You'll get an alert, and then if you click view, it'll take you into that message, and you'll see what they replied back. And then, you have the option to reply back to them at this point. So up at the top right, you'll see there's a reply arrow up there. I can click that and then click reply and type an answer back to them. Another option that they have, though, is they could actually call you back. They could do, you'll see up at the top, there's a video call button and an audio call button. So, for example, if they wanted to do a call back to you, they can actually click the video call button up at the top, and it's then going to start a video call back. And you're not going to see me on the screen right now because my camera's being used by Zoom, but if I actually answer the call on the iPad, excuse me, you'll see now we've got the video call. Oh, hang on, let me bring the iPad back up. We've got the video call going on here. So again, the reason we're only seeing the one side right now is because I'm on the camera on my laptop using Zoom. But if I didn't have my camera on, you guys would have seen, the two-way video there. So that's an option. And again, just like how they had the video call, if I go back to that tracking screen and bring it back up, they could also do just an audio-only call to you. So it'll still bring up the video call screen. It's just, it will have no videos. It'll just be like black boxes and show the people's names who are in the call. So that's another option they have to get in touch with you again. So again, you send the alert to them. They can potentially reply back to it if they have any questions, or they can either do a video call or an audio call back to you. So that's kind of the alerting side of things for just sending in the messages. And then I know you guys are also going to be using eBridge as a communication tool, for verbal reports as well. So I'm just going to go in and remove this so we get back to the main screen. So if I bring the iPad back up, again, if we're looking at the home screen of the app where we have that priority 3 button, if you look down at the bottom, right in the center, there's a video camera icon with a little telephone symbol inside of it. So if I actually click on that, that brings up the call screen. And again, just like before when we were sending the message, it gives you the list of all the hospitals in here. So if you guys wanted to place a call to the hospital, you can do that. So for example, if I click on the Oakland hospital test, it gives me the option. Do I want to do a video call or an audio call? So obviously if I do a video call, the cameras are on and, it's going to be a two-way video, assuming they have a camera on their end at the hospital. If they don't, obviously they would see your video, but you wouldn't see them. That's something that the hospitals will be, working on, getting their own cameras. As of right now, their systems very likely do not have cameras, other than the couple that have been using eBridge already. I think they have cameras on their systems. So if in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click audio call. And then what it does is it's going to start the call. And you can see at the hospital side, they get an incoming call alert letting them know that you're calling them. So when they answer it, again, it's just going to be black boxes that shows each side, because again, this is an audio-only call. Now, my device here is an iPad if you're looking at my video, so naturally, I'm not going to be sitting here holding the iPad like this. The iPad just defaults and is always in like speakerphone mode. So you don't need to hold it up to your ear or anything. It just uses the speakers and the mic and speakerphone mode. If you're using a smaller device, though, like an iPhone or an Android phone, let me just bring the iPad back up. So on the screen here, and you can't see it again because the iPad doesn't really have, handset mode, up at the top left where you see that little like chevron looking icon, next to that there would be a speaker icon. And if you click that, you can switch between speakerphone mode and handset mode, where you actually have to hold it up to your ear to hear the other side. So you have those two options when you're doing the audio calls, if you wanted to go in speakerphone mode, or if you wanted to actually be able to hold it up and have a private conversation. For example, you know, if you didn't want the patient to be able to hear, you know, what the nurse or doc on the other side is saying, you could do that, obviously. And then when you're all done with the call, if you want to hang up from your side, you just touch the screen, and there's a leave button up at the top right. When you click on that, it'll just confirm it, and if you say leave, it will hang it up, and then it goes back to, you know, back to the main calling screen. All right, so I just rattled through a whole bunch of stuff. I know that's pretty much the long and short of it. So I will now open it up to questions. So, you know, go ahead and, you know, if you guys have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll try to get you answered.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Bonnie. I just have a quick one. Those who are already on eBridge that are communicating through different, you know, through the eBridge that the hospital has for themselves, what will it show on their iPad or iPhone on their end?
Sure. So, yep. So on their home screen, they actually have a few other buttons on there. I think they have like 4 buttons for Henry Ford West Bloomfield and 4 buttons for the other hospital. So priority 3 notification will just be another button listed down below those. So they'll have the buttons that they've had all along, plus the priority 3 notification down underneath those.
Okay, great. And then basically you can have buttons for a STEMI alert, a trauma alert, a stroke alert. There's all those buttons, but right now we're starting off with just communication to the hospital via either a priority 3 notification only, which is the form, or a video or audio call for a priority 1 or 2.
Right.
Questions? It seems pretty simple, eh?
Jimmy, one question. Jeff Overstar, how are you?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, Jeff?
So this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is an app. This is not running. I can't run this through. It's not a web-based product. I have to run the app in the iPad.
Right, it is an app. So yep. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone or an Android, it does need to be installed. If you have a Windows device like a Toughbook or a Surface tablet, you know, it's not in like the Microsoft Store. We have a link to it on our website, so we can work with you guys to get it downloaded on if you have a PC device. And the way, one other thing I didn't mention before, but when I showed that tracking screen with the map and, you know, the location that updates in real time, that does require a device that has a GPS in it. So all Android phones and iPhones have GPSs built in. iPads, it's a mixed bag. If you have an iPad that has cellular data capability, it does have a GPS built in. But if it's a Wi-Fi only iPad and it's using like a hotspot in the vehicle, it does not have a GPS. So, you know, the tracking won't really work on those devices. And then with like the Toughbooks and Surfaces, it's the same kind of thing. If the device has a built-in GPS, and from what we've seen on like the Panasonic Toughbook side, it kind of follows the iPad rule. If it's got cellular data capability, whether or not you have it activated is irrelevant. If it's got the capability for cellular data, it typically has a built-in GPS, and we could utilize that to calculate the ETAs and show the position on the map. But if it does not have the built-in GPS, then they're not going to see the actual map in your position. They'll still get the alert and be able to open it up, and they would just look at the ETA that you had filled out in the form.
Jimmy, quick question. Steve McGhee from Holly. Is it possible to get the tracking in the map on our end, or is that not possible?
No, so the tracking in the map's really only on the receive side, and we could actually only show it on PC devices. Like on the receive side at the hospital, if they were using like an iPad, for example, even then they wouldn't be able to see the map. So the map is pretty, you know, the functionality is restricted just to the receiving device, and it has to be a PC. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see the map on your side at this time. Now, down the road, you know, we may come out with an update where we have that capability. But as of now, you would not see that. Any other questions, guys?
One thing about GD is if you guys come up with questions like that, Chief, jot them down, send them to me. I'll send them over. They're always looking ways to make everybody happier. So if it's possible, they'll do it. If it's something that's not possible right now, they'll just put it on a wish list.
Yep. Yeah. Great point, Bonnie. And you know, in addition to that, so the way this is going to be set up for phase one, when you guys are kind of just focusing on the priority 3 notifications and then doing the audio or video calls for the priority 1s and 2s. Later on, if you guys, you know, start to expand this, or you want to expand it to STEMI alerts, stroke alerts, things like that, the system has the capability built in. We're kind of just, you know, restricting it to this smaller subset use case, but it can be expanded to do other things. So the way it starts is not necessarily the way it's going to be at the end. And you may find even on that priority 3 notification form, like if you feel there needs to be other fields on there, just let Bonnie know and we can update the fields that appear on that form. That it's not set in stone the way it is right now. That's just, you know, how it is for phase 1 when we're starting the rollout. But based on your feedback as you guys are using this and as the hospitals are using it, you know, we may find that there needs to be different information on there or something else. So again, whatever, you know, any feedback that you guys have, you know, definitely make notes of that and, you know, ask your medics to do the same. Any information, feedback that they have, you know, please let us know or work it through Bonnie, let her know, and she can relay it to us. We're always looking to, you know, improve it and make changes to make it better for you guys.
Absolutely. And as part of the special study you guys are participating in, we'll be sending that back out again because I'm sure it's been a while since you've seen it. But basically there is a form in the back that just says that if you have any issues, if your medics have any issues en route using eBridge, jot them down and then just ship them over to us because that's how the study's going to work. We have to figure out if there's glitches, fix them. If, you know, if the study's going to be successful, we got to all work together and have that. So that feedback loop back to us and then back to GD from us.
Hey, Jimmy, and maybe Bonnie can answer this better. Nick Birchmeyer, Rochester Hills. Just wondering where we are going to get the logins for all of our devices so we can get stuff configured and up and running on our end.
So we asked you guys a couple weeks ago to get all that information to us and we gave it to GD and that's what they're working on right now. I'm not sure about a go live as far as having all the hospitals set up and all of the EMS agencies set up. I'm hoping by next week. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly we have all the hospitals set up except for the handful that didn't have care points that we can't access. Now, they may want to do some training and whatnot with their staff before they give the green light to start sending to them. I'm pretty sure they'll actually want to do that. So, and same thing, you know, on your side, you know, for the EMS side. So we've created a bunch of the accounts already. So, you know, we'll be sending that info to Bonnie in a spreadsheet. And then she can just forward the section of that, you know, that applies to each of your agencies that has your unit numbers with their usernames and passwords in them. And then basically once you download the app, you know, the first thing it does is pop up and ask you for that username and password. Once you put it in there, it will, you know, download, you know, the form and the button and everything just like this. And you'll have all the contacts that, you know, you're able to see. And then you'll be ready to go.
Jimmy, this is Glenn Garwood from Ascension, Michigan. Just again, to clarify, when will that spreadsheet be sent back? Because we want to have all these configured next week. And without those passwords for the devices for the various agencies and the password, like at Providence, Rochester, we do not have a care point. Without those passwords, we are just at an absolute stall. So what is the specific turnaround time on that?
Yeah, Joe, can you unmute and maybe speak to that? Where are we at with the list of EMS devices and the couple of non-hospital or non-care point hospitals? I think Joe's on. Maybe he got disconnected.
Well, if
Okay.
Joe
All right. Well,
that information later today or, you know, early Monday, that would be great. I can get it out to
Okay.
everybody or at least a timeline and then I can get that timeline.
Right. Yeah. Yes, certainly by early next week, we'll have them all created if they're not already all done. Bonnie, what day did you actually get the spreadsheet to him? Because, you know, it does take a couple days to make all the accounts, but if he got it earlier this week, I think we should be in good shape.
He got it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm sure they're done. Actually, he just texted me, so I guess he's unable to unmute. He said he sent it back to you, Bonnie. If you want, he can certainly send it again.
Okay, that would be great. I've been in meetings all day, so I'm not sure if I missed it, but yeah, if he could send it again,
Okay.
that would be great. Then great, I will get that out this afternoon to everybody. And yeah, and I know we got the contact information for the non-care point users at the hospitals. So I know we're waiting on those. And then yeah, we can start going live and with this next week. I don't see any reason why not. I don't think we need a cutover date that's for everybody 100%, but I think we need to do it as you guys are trained and as the hospitals that you're working with are trained, go live and start using it.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing, you know, I would keep in mind is, you know, from the hospital side, because if you guys start getting your usernames and passwords later today, for example, please don't just start sending to them, because if they haven't trained all their staff, because we only did the training with them a couple days ago, that, you know, they may not know what's going on when they get that initial message in. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure out how to use it, but still, it might freak them out a little bit. So, you know, I would say definitely once you guys are ready to go and, you know which hospitals you want to work with, I would say, you know, to just tell Bonnie and say, all right, we're all set. And then, you know, she can check in to make sure the hospital's good to go. And if they are, then you'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, very cool. As soon as all the hospitals are set up, I'll give everybody the green light to start trying it out and going live. And but I am going to need to hear back, because we do have 4 hospitals that are non-care point ones that are going to have to be set up separately. So, and we just got that information today, so we got it back to you guys, Jimmy, and hopefully they'll get set up by the end of today or Monday. So I don't see any reason why we can't go live next week.
Okay. And even if those 4 hospitals that don't have the care points aren't ready, you know, you could still go live with the other hospitals. And then as those come on board, because since they don't have care points, we're going to need to work with their IT to get it installed on a computer. And sometimes that goes smooth, and sometimes that takes a little more effort when working with hospital ITs.
Absolutely. And I just got that email from Joe. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, any other questions, guys? All right. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, this session was recorded, so I'll have this recording available later today. I'll send it over to Bonnie, and then she can, you know, forward it out to you guys. So if you have anyone on your, you know, from your team that you guys want to have watch it, they'll be able to just click a link and go ahead and view it.
And truly, the education training on this is so simple, you know, that I think anybody could learn it in 5 or 10 minutes. So I don't see this as being something that's going to take an hour of education for sure.
Right.
The other part of this is everybody involved as a part of the protocol. If there is an issue that you do experience or a piece of feedback, a part of this is you sending that information into the OCMCA so that we can make those necessary modifications or make necessary education tools to help those people through any issues.
Absolutely, Jeff.
Yep, great point.
We will send out that special study form so that everybody has it in hand. I know we've had a lot of people, a lot of LSAs join and hospitals join that heard about it. So not everybody may not have that in their hands going forward. So I'll make sure it goes out with the usernames and passwords. Very cool. Any other questions? Chief,
All right.
No, I was just going to thank you guys. This is awesome.
Cool. think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and thank you guys for the time today. I know obviously getting everyone together like this is always a difficult task. So thank you guys for the time. And again, we look forward to getting this kicked off hopefully next week and, seeing your feedback. Please keep us in the loop, what's working, what's not working. If there's any changes that you think would make it better, we're obviously, we want to hear all that feedback. Anything we can do to make it work better for you guys is what we're here for.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Thank everybody that's on the call. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Joe.
No problem, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.